The master sat under the shade of the Bodhi tree, his robe brushing the earth with each breath. The disciples gathered around him, their faces painted with questions they dared not yet ask. Silence hung thick in the air, as if waiting to be born into words. One young disciple, timid but eager, finally broke the stillness. "Master, why do we avoid silence? Why does it unsettle the heart?" The Buddha gazed at the disciple, his eyes a tranquil ocean in a world of restless winds. "Let me share a story," he began, his voice flowing like a river, soft yet firm. Long ago, in the vibrant city of Vaishali, a merchant thrived on the energy of the marketplace. His stall overflowed with goods, but his true allure was a musician who played beside him. The melodies filled the air, drowning out the cacophony of disputes and the cries of hungry beggars. He continued. Day after day, customers flocked to his stall, seduced by the harmony that masked the chaos. But one fateful day, the musician fell ill, the stall fell silent, and the merchant found himself alone amid the noise. All things are interconnected. He picked up a fallen leaf, its edges curled and brittle, holding it between his fingers. For the first time, he heard the harsh truth of the world, stripped of its melodic disguise, unable to bear the discomfort of silence. He shut his stall and fled, seeking refuge in the noise elsewhere. The Buddha explained. Noise had been his comfort, but it was also his cage, binding him to illusions. The disciples listened, their minds spiraling through the labyrinth of the Buddha's teachings. Master, another disciple dared to ask, what does the silence reveal that we fear so deeply? The Buddha's gaze fell upon the questioning disciple. Silence is not empty. It is full of the truths we avoid, he said. It reveals the unexamined sorrows and restless thoughts we bury beneath distractions. Think of the lake, he continued. When its surface is stirred, we cannot see the depths. Noise stirs our minds similarly, concealing our truth. But when the lake is still, its waters reflect its depth, revealing what lies hidden. The Buddha explained. Silence mirrors the soul, exposing what we fear to face. Master, is silence always daunting? The timid disciple asked. The Buddha smiled, the corners of his mouth curving like the crescent moon. To those unprepared, silence can be overwhelming, he replied. But to those who embrace it, silence becomes a sanctuary, offering clarity and peace. The Buddha added. It is through the stillness that we find our path to liberation. The disciples sat in quiet contemplation, their thoughts swirling like autumn leaves in a gentle breeze. They gazed upon the Master, a figure of unwavering calm amidst the storm of their restless minds. Silence, the Buddha continued, is the space where the soul meets the truth. It is neither friend nor foe but a teacher. It demands honesty and courage, for it exposes not just the world's chaos but also the turmoil within, he said. It strips away illusions, leaving only the essence of what truly is. Noise binds us to distractions, filling the void with fleeting comfort, the Buddha explained. But silence releases us from these chains, allowing us to walk the path of awakening. To avoid silence is to avoid oneself, he said with gentle conviction. Just as this bowl is guided by the hand of its carrier, he said, your purpose will guide you to fulfillment. The Buddha placed his hands on his knees, his posture upright yet relaxed, the very picture of balance and centeredness. One disciple, emboldened by the teachings, asked, Master, how can we prepare for silence? The Buddha answered with grace, his voice as steady as a mountain stream. Begin by observing the noise around you and within you, he said. Listen not to judge but to understand. Do not fear the discomfort, for it is the threshold to understanding, he added. It is in embracing silence that we find the courage to transform. Each distraction you surrender is a step closer to stillness, he continued. With each moment of calm, You unravel the illusions that bind you. The disciples absorbed the guidance, their hearts awakening to the possibilities of stillness. They felt the pull towards silence, not as something daunting but as a call to truth. Let silence guide you, the Buddha said, his voice like the wind that whispered through the trees. Let it teach you what cannot be spoken, only understood. The master rose, his robe flowing like the river he had spoken of. Now, he said, be like the lake in stillness, and let your depths be revealed. The disciples bowed, their souls beginning a journey they had long resisted. Under the Bodhi tree, silence embraced them like an old friend, promising truths hidden in its depths. Another day, another gathering beneath the Bodhi tree, where the Buddha's wisdom flowed like a river meeting the sea. The disciples had come seeking answers, their minds still wrestling with the echoes of his teachings on silence. A monk with a lined face stepped forward, his voice trembling but determined. Master, solitude frightens me. Why does it seem so daunting? The Buddha looked at the monk, his gaze steady as a mountain under the vast sky. Solitude is a mirror, revealing truths often hidden in the noise of the world, he said gently. Let me tell you a tale, the Buddha continued, his voice weaving the story like threads into cloth. There was a prince, celebrated for his charm and ambition, who rose to power in the kingdom of Kosala, he began. But with ambition came fear, and he imprisoned his rivals in dark, silent cells to protect his throne. Each man entered solitude, where silence unveiled their unexamined fears, their sorrows, and the wounds they had long ignored, the Buddha explained. One by one, they faltered, overwhelmed by the truths they could no longer escape in the darkness. But among them was a humble monk, whose spirit remained unbroken despite the solitude, the Buddha said, pausing to let the words settle like mist on the morning earth. When the prince asked how he endured, the monk answered, the walls of this cell cannot confine me. They are one and the same. I bowed deeply, my heart filled with gratitude and resolve. The forest embraced me as I rose, its wisdom now a part of my own. Another day, another journey through the unfolding world of impermanence. Solitude removes the veils of distraction, leaving us face to face with ourselves, he said. When we avoid solitude, we avoid confronting the wounds and fears that shape our lives, the Buddha continued. But solitude is not torment. It is an opportunity for growth and understanding. Think of the moon, he said. In daylight, its light pales beside the sun, hidden by its brilliance. Solitude is the night. Master, he said, this river is both a blessing and a curse. Its flooding ruins my fields. Its drought leaves me barren. Master, a young disciple asked hesitantly, how can we embrace solitude without fear? The Buddha smiled, his face radiant with patience and understanding. Begin by sitting with yourself. Even amidst the noise, he advised, do not flee the discomfort, but observe it like a cloud passing across the sky. Recognize that the fear you feel is a whisper of your own unexamined self, he said. Each moment you remain present is a step toward understanding the truth solitude unveils, the Buddha explained. Embracing solitude is like befriending the night, knowing it holds not just shadows but stars. The disciples felt a quiet determination grow within them, their fears beginning to transform into curiosity. The Buddha's gaze swept across them, filled with profound compassion. Do not mistake solitude for loneliness, he said. In solitude, you are never alone, for your soul and truth accompany you, the Buddha continued. It is the space where your inner teacher reveals itself, offering wisdom beyond words. As the river finds its path through stillness, so too will you find your path in solitude, the Buddha said. Do not resist its teachings, but welcome them as you would a trusted companion. The disciples bowed their heads, their hearts resonating with the truths the Buddha shared. Under the Bodhi tree, the silence of the evening embraced them, offering its own quiet wisdom. Another day ended. Another step toward awakening had begun. Another day. Another serene gathering under the Bodhi tree, where the Buddha's voice resonated like a melody of wisdom. The disciples had returned, their hearts still echoing with thoughts of silence and solitude. They awaited the Master's insight, hoping to grasp the meaning of stillness. A young disciple, curious yet reflective, broke the silence. "Master, what is stillness? And how do we find it in this restless world?" The Buddha's eyes gleamed with compassion, his posture as calm as a moonlit lake. "Stillness is not the absence of movement but the harmony of the mind, heart, and spirit," the Buddha replied. "Let me tell you a story," he continued, his voice flowing gently, like a stream caressing its stones. "Once, in the kingdom of Magadha, there was a river revered for its clarity and its gentle, unwavering flow," he began. "The villagers drew water from it for their crops and their homes, marveling at its constant serenity. Yet, during the monsoon, when the rains swelled the earth, the river transformed into a torrent, roaring and unrestrained," the Buddha said. "The villagers feared its power, calling it destructive and unkind, though they depended on its waters. But one season, an elder meditated by the river and saw its flow as a reflection of life," he explained. "In its calm, the river gave clarity. In its torrent, it revealed the strength and resilience that lay within. Like the boat, we must learn to carry one another, to navigate the waters of life together." Subhuti asked, "Master, if the river teaches compassion, does it also teach wisdom? What can its impermanence reveal to us?" The Buddha turned his gaze toward the horizon, where the river disappeared into the vastness of the land. "Master," another disciple asked, "how can stillness guide us in times of chaos and unrest?" The Buddha smiled softly, his gaze embracing the question like a parent cradles a child. "Stillness teaches us to see beyond the surface, to understand the essence of what moves us and binds us," he said. "In chaos, it shows us not the absence of conflict but the strength to remain true to our purpose. Think of the lotus," he continued. "Entrepreneurs," he continued, "often rush into action, seeking quick results without considering the delicate balance required for true growth. The ripples reached the lotus flowers, their movements subtle yet suggestive of the profound interconnectedness the Buddha sought to convey." The Buddha continued, "Wisdom is not in holding, but in letting go. It is in flowing freely, as the river does." "Master, how do we cultivate stillness amidst the noise and distractions we face daily?" The Buddha's voice softened, carrying the wisdom of endless teachings. "Begin by recognizing the noise, not resisting it but seeing it for what it truly is," he said. "Noise is a ripple on the water's surface, a momentary disturbance that does not define the lake beneath. When you find moments of quiet, no matter how fleeting, hold them gently, as one holds a delicate flower," he advised. "Let these moments teach you not to seek perfection but to embrace the balance life offers," the Buddha explained. The disciples listened intently, their fears and doubts slowly dissolving under the warmth of the Buddha's guidance. "Stillness is a practice, not a destination," the Master added, his voice as soothing as a lullaby. "It is the process of returning to yourself. No matter how far you have wandered," the Buddha said, "it is the path to awakening, where the mind and heart align." Resonating with the harmony of existence, the disciples felt their spirits lift, their hearts resonating with the teachings like strings of a lute tuned to perfection. The Master's gaze rested on them, his presence a beacon of the stillness he described. "Remember," he said, "stillness is not an escape but an embrace of all that is, both within and around you. It is in stillness that we truly meet ourselves, not in fragments but in our wholeness." The disciples bowed, their gratitude and reverence as deep as the stillness they sought to understand. Another day had passed. Another journey toward awakening had begun. Guided by the Master's boundless wisdom. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.